Excited. I think the guys are excited. It's been a long month. I think these months get longer, longer I coach. But you can see the excitement. This week was a good week because they know there's something at the end, and I think hopefully we can have a couple more days of practice here and get playing. The guys want to start playing, and we need to start playing to kind of figure out where everything's at.
On Saturday, everyone going to be available,
or? As of right now, yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a healthy.
Yeah.
Been a healthy month so far.
Fairly. Well, let's just see.
Okay. Some guys are still.
Yeah, there's been some little dings up. Some guys have been sick, whatever. But it's the normal stuff. But yeah, nothing right now. So yeah, and the nice thing with the game on Sunday too is we get an opportunity to probably play everybody in one or both games.
Nice this year with the bigger roster. Did you have that opportunity Saturday, Sunday? Did everyone in the game?
Big reason I wanted to play the game Sunday was that, right? I think too, as you get into the 2-game series, playing just one game, and usually if it's just an exhibition, not everybody plays a lot. So I think getting an opportunity to play some guys a little bit more and some guys that maybe don't play Saturday on Sunday, I think that's important right now. A lot of great competition right now. Guys are pushing, and like I said, more exciting for me is just seeing they want to get playing, and but I think it's been really healthy so far, and hopefully that continues.
What's it been to have Will Francis, back full time with the season?
Well, it's been great. I mean, I mentioned it last year. I mean, obviously it was a tough blow to find out when we did, and to not have him part of it, especially the first half. But, but he's in a battle, right? We've got 9 defensemen, and but just he's kind of that guy in the room. I think on the ice, I think we kind of know. I mentioned it before. He obviously brings the size and a little bit of that edge to his game, and he's trying to find his groove too. I mean, he's missed a lot of hockey, and even last year was not a great year for him, but we'll get him in there at some point. But we missed him in the room last year. We missed him on the ice last year, just like I mentioned we missed Dom, not being around or being on the ice on a daily basis.
Owen Galton, I thought, kind of quietly had a pretty good year last year. We probably didn't talk enough about him. Contributed some good offense from the back end. What are you kind of expecting out of him this year?
Well, he's looked great so far. I'll be honest with you, I think he's taken another step so far through the month. And I've kind of referenced that our older guys have been really good. Our returners have been good to go along with the new guys. But he's a senior, assistant captain. We're expecting him to have a really good year. Again, I thought last year was a very quiet year, quiet 30 points, right? But it was a bright spot. And you're right, Matt, we didn't talk about it enough, but I think he's, like right now to me, he looks like he's got a lot of confidence. I think he had a good summer. I think a lot of the things that he's showed us so far are real good, and I know he expects to have a good year, but I do think he's going to be one of our leaders back there, and obviously a good power play guy, and helping out some of the other new guys, and but he'll be hopefully have that same impact that he had last year, and I don't care if it's quiet. That's kind of how his game is.
What do you think was key for him last year to allow him to take that?
Well, our power play was good. I thought he did a good job playing the flank. So again, a lot of the points are there, but he's a good puck moving defenseman, right? He's undersized, but he's got a good brain, and he can move pucks, and he's got a little bit of offensive knack to his game. But one of the things I've noticed already, his shot's a lot better, so I think he spent some time working on that, which is good. Got a little more velocity to it, and again, it doesn't matter how hard it is. We got to get pucks through. So we got a few guys that, back there. I know Adam Kleber, just, again, been impressed getting shots through. And, again, like I said, I'm not worried about how hard shots are, but we got to get pucks to the net, and our D need to do a better job of that. But just those are some things like with Galley, just his confidence level and the shot, and just playing with a lot of, energy. I think that's good. So I told him, don't keep building on that, right? Because we're going to need him to be a big part of it.
We talked last year about maybe not, you weren't the best team in terms of puck possession last year. It wasn't a great year in that regard. And maybe that limited the number of chances you're doing power play. Do you feel like you've got a group that can possess and hold pucks more, maybe give themselves in better positions to maybe get you on the power play more? Because you were lethal when you had it last year.
I sure hope so, Bruce. We weren't very good. We didn't spend a lot of time in the offensive zone. I didn't think, not only that, I think, I'll call it the ground game, the willingness to play sometimes in those harder areas and grind it out. You might not always get chances, but I do think, though, with this group, I do think we've got some guys that are naturally gifted offensive players, and I think they've proven that where they've come from. I do think we have some returning guys that are part of that too, but with the young group, there's a lot of guys that are used to producing offense, and they have the ability to make plays. I think they see plays. So I'm hoping that with the group, we can certainly generate more O-zone time, puck possession time, opportunities. We still got to get to the net. Like, we can play with it all we want, but we still got to get pucks to the net. And hopefully our D, with the D core that we have, adding, with Aaron back as a sophomore, Galley, Ty Hansen, those guys are, have a little bit of offense to their game. So again, I think we can produce some more from the back end too. But collectively, I'm hoping it's going to be better with what we have. So.
You've got a lot of guys that have played in the middle at some point in their time, your juniors or their time here at UMD. Do you feel like right now you've got a 1, 2, 4 down the middle, and you can kind of build off of that?
I feel like we have a 1 through 6, actually, really. Yeah, I do. I think there's, Cardelloni's going to play on the wing. Right now, Dom, Zam, Jack Smith, Cal Arnott, and Fish are probably our top 5, right? And we've had, Cal and Fish switching off on wing too a little bit, but we have other guys. Perkins played last year. Loans again can play. Like, we are a little bit deeper there, but we're trying some things with those guys. And again, feel pretty good about. Like, I like our depth at the bottom of the lineup. I think we're deeper. I think some of the guys that we've added can certainly play a big role down there, but also guys that can move up in your lineup. So we've been moving guys around, and it's probably going to continue just because we have that luxury. And I think the biggest luxury we have is if some guys are struggling, we are going to have some guys that can replace them. And that's a good thing, right? Because I think it keeps everybody on your toes. I harped about competition. I think there's some real strong competition at every position, probably more so than in the past. I think we've started every year, I've said that, and then we end up not having it. But hopefully that'll continue, because I think it's helped our guys get better here, right? Even in the month of September.
What's the value of, you've got a bunch of games here, non-conference, you've got a road trip non-conference, you can bring everybody and not have to worry about leaving guys at home. You've got this competition that can continue now for a while until you have to think about that.
Yeah, and I think with our league rule too, we can bring as many people as we want. So that's kind of a nice luxury too, because I do think it's important early in the year that your group, I like the road trip, second weekend, right? I know we're playing at home a lot after that, but it's nice to go on the road and get away against a really good opponent in Lowell. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit different. But we got some guys pushing right now. Like, our young kids, you know, and I don't want to keep harping on, they're good. Okay, we're a good group, right? We need our older guys, we need our returners to be our best players, right? We need those guys to be the consistency, you know, and they don't all have to lead our team in scoring, but they have to be consistent. And what I've seen so far through the month of September, I've been very happy with those guys because they have been pushing. They have been some of our more consistent guys. The young guys are just going to filter in there, and but some of the young guys are going to keep pushing, and they're getting better every day. So now we got to play games. It's a little bit different, right? We got this month to kind of get our feet wet as a group, and then we get into the grind of our league, and that's a whole different animal.
Do you line up for the opener? Does it matter who it's against? Does it help that it's a team like the Legion testing a lot of areas?
I think it's great. I think it's a great, you know, first of all, I love playing Tom's teams because they do play extremely hard, very, very well coached. You know, they don't give you a lot. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us. Obviously, they're picked to win their league, so they've got a good group again. They always like playing us, so we always had good games with them. But yeah, I think it's great. And then, you know, the Sunday game is good for us too, to kind of just get back at it again and get some different players in there and maybe look at some different things. And then we have a short week, and then you go out and play another difficult team to play against. I know they had a down year. You know, Norm's teams Lowell had a down year last year like us, but they're very difficult to play against, and we got to go into their barn. So it's a tough start. I won't even go past that, but those first three games in the exhibition are going to be good for us to give us a little better idea of some things with our team.
Talk about the Plant brothers. What have you seen from them so far leading up to the season over?
Chemistry. Obviously, they're very talented. They're competitors. That's what I love. Sam's a motor. His motor's always going. Max is a really skilled player. He's really developed, like physically, too, over the last 2 years and had a good year. They're both coming off. You know, Sam had a great year in the USHL, right? He's been plagued by injuries and finally had a full year and was a key part of their team that won the Clark Cup. You know, Max going through the program, you know, again, it can go back to him. Like, we weren't sure when we recruited him, is he going to have to play a year of junior? But his 2 years there, and certainly the way he played last year, made it pretty easy. But when you put them together, whether they stay together for lengthy periods of time or all year or part of the year, it's amazing, the chemistry. They know where each other is. They've got really good hockey IQ. I love their compete. I love their will to win. Those kids, they're gonna be really good for us.
Remember a time where you kind of added 12 new faces to the fold, and what are kind of the challenges of incorporating that many new faces?
2006 maybe? Zach, somewhere in that? After that? At 11, I think. 10 or 11, right? That was probably the last time. I mean, we've had some 7, 8, 9 classes, but I think it's refreshing. It's new. I think they bring a different, there's a different hunger there because they're new. Certainly there's some really good players that have some really good track records. And I believe that they're going to continue that at this level over time. And we're looking for a lot of those guys to be a big part of our team as we go through the year. It's going to be fun to watch them grow. But again, I go back to the older guys. Those are the guys that need to keep, you know, teaching, you know, helping. I think we got a great captain in Dom. We got a great leadership group with the assistant captains in Galley and Pierce and Dubinsky, amongst some other leaders. And some of these freshmen, too, have been leaders. So I think our group is they're going to get challenged. There's no question. Again, our league, as excited as I am about our group, when I think about our league's gotten better. Our league keeps getting better. So that presents another set of challenges. I want to get through this month. I want to see where we're at. Hopefully we can have success this month, kind of keep building on it, get a better idea of where some of our guys are at through the games versus just practices. And, you know, I think every team says the same thing. You need some games. You need some games to figure it out. And there's going to be ups and downs, but I just think this group has got a will to win, and I think our returning guys were disappointed last year, and some guys have been here 2 years. It's not where they want to be, and they have an opportunity to change that, and these young guys are going to bring some new energy and some talent, and hopefully it all molds together. Because, again, it doesn't matter how much you have. To me, it's how quickly you become a team. And what I liked about bringing them back in June was a good start for 2 weeks, and then getting them back before school like we normally do. The 2 weeks in June was extremely beneficial to this group to get to know each other better. It's the first time we kind of did it for that, where we had everybody for that period of time. And I think it really benefited them coming back here and being a little bit closer to start, right? Now, it's easy now because no one's playing. Once you start playing and guys are in and out or guys aren't on the power play, that's where this group has to stay together and pull for each other and keep becoming a team, you know? So, and we've talked about that, right? It doesn't matter. I don't want to see, we just want to see everybody work as hard as they can, be a good teammate, you know, get to know each other. And I think this group is a little bit farther along than maybe last year.
You mentioned you want the older guys to be the consistent ones at least early in the year, but do you make conscious choices early in the year when you're pairing those guys? Do you want to sprinkle that experience in and out of your forward lines and your pairing?
Sometimes I do, Zach. I got 3 freshmen together. I got Plant Shagabe together. We'll see how it goes. You know what? We'll see how it goes. But I've seen they're all, I'm not going to get into comparisons, but, you know, it might be fun to watch, right? Sometimes you do. Like, you know, I'm kind of down, I don't even want to say the bottom of our lineup because I don't really feel like we have a bottom, but, you know, a Joe Molinar can be a great example for 2 other young guys, right? So sometimes how it's going to shake out, I don't know. But I just think right now we've got some players that think alike. I'm going to see how they play together, whether that stays together as we go. And I think there's some guys that maybe, again, I say maybe are starting down here that are going to push to be higher quickly. So, but I just want those guys to be the guys that, you know, we can throw out and we know we're not going to get a lot of ups and downs, right? They're going to play their best. They're going to, you know, be more consistent than maybe, I don't want to say the young guys aren't going to be consistent, but we know there's peaks and valleys. And you expect that out of your older guys. Like, there's a lot of those guys coming back that I trust, right? I trust, you know, Cardelloni, the way he plays. I trust, you know, there's just guys you trust because you've been with them, and you need those guys to play that way, if not better, all the time, you know? So.
You mentioned that when you came back to the other practice a little bit last year, but having Dom back, can you see how big of a driving force is he in that consistency and keeping things the same every day?
A lot, like even like when he came back, I mean, just the pace he plays at, right? You know, just you have, and we have some other guys this year that can skate too, right? You know, Gino can skate, Mangini can skate. You know, if you get that pace put up there, you know, I think of as a defenseman, right? Like if I'm going against that all the time, or you're going against certain guys all the time, it makes you better, right? And it just, I still remember him coming back and he wasn't full and he just elevated it. And part of it was him. Part of it's him being back there. Guys are excited to get him on the ice. I just love how he's approached this year. Like he's very focused on the year. You know, we know it's his last year. He could have went, but he's focused. He's excited about the group. He's excited about leading this group. And, you know, me personally for him, I want him to have his best year, you know, because I want him to help this team win games, set the example. And also at the end of the year, I want him to be in the best position for him to go on and be successful when he leaves. And I know he wants nothing more than to put one more trophy up in the office. But we got a long way to go before that, but he's been awesome so far.
Dave Dubinsky is your returning player. Your leadership group. You saw this guy put on the ice, especially in the second half last year. But what's it been like watching the growth and maturity off the ice?
It's been great to see Bruce. Like, I can tell you, his first year he got hampered with some injuries. Second half of last year, he became a more vocal guy. Again, trying to get this team on track. And I think he had a great summer. I think he's come back here, much like Galley, is elevated, looks more confident. And he's shown that. Like, he's shown that in every day. He's the guy we're doing skating drills, he's the first. Maybe 2 years ago, he's in the middle, right? He wants to be that guy. And I think, with the voting, I think it was a great choice just based on some of the things we've seen, in the past year. You start seeing some leadership qualities in certain guys, and so do the players. So I think he's going to have a really good year for us, and I think it's going to be a carryover from his second half last year. And the way he looks right now, he looks really good. So hopefully that carries over into the year. Good? Mm-hmm.
to buy some new running shoes, though. I don't really have a good pair. Yeah.
Will, what's it like for you being back in that red shirt and hopefully getting the
Yeah.
games done?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Like, just getting back in the routine of getting to school too. Kind of everything all together, just back into a routine. All the days look similar, and not, I feel like last year so much I was always in between here in the cities. When am I gonna have to go back? And now it's just nice to have some consistency, and obviously, even just the little things. Being in the room with the guys and that sort of thing is what I really. Kind of looking back on it, like that's what I missed out on, just the laughs every day in the locker room and stuff like that. So super nice being back.
What was it like the second half? Sort of being back in the team, but,
Yep.
but redshirting not really yet.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I was back in the cities between January and February pretty much for the whole month, and then got back here late February. Went to Denver with the guys, so it was nice to get a road trip in and kind of get that sense of normalcy, and then. Ended up being back down in the cities again in April. So it was just tough, right? It was kind of hard just finding a sense of consistency. I guess just even week to week, all my weeks look different last year, and it's nice that so far this year I've had pretty much the same weeks every week, and it's been great.
You're the bone marrow transplant, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Can you take us through that? What does that all involve?
Yeah, so basically. I got 2 to 3 or 3 second opinions around the country. The therapy I got in the fall and then January, it all worked and it works great in putting the cancer into remission and having it be non-detectable. But just didn't sustain as long as they're hoping they would have that immunotherapy sustain. So I got a couple other second opinions just to see what the best next step was, whether that was sitting and waiting and seeing if this would come back or not. There was kind of a high chance of that. And so everyone that I talked to told me I kind of had a golden ticket opportunity to get a bone marrow transplant, which, I mean, it was a tough decision, because going into that, I never knew what life would look like again. Didn't know if I was going to play hockey again. Didn't know if I'd be here again. Just with the realities of what, a bone marrow transplant includes. So, yeah, I had the golden ticket opportunity. My brother is 100% match. I had no detectable disease at the time of the transplant, and there's a super good outlook for that sort of thing. So yeah, it was tough. I mean, this guy saw me in the hospital, and I only weighed 190 pounds in the spring, and it was just, he told me, like, it's tough to see it that way, and I'm glad that, I came out of it on the right side, and just have been building back ever since kind of the 4th of July.
Your brother being 100% match?
Yeah.
When you talk about golden ticket, I mean, that's
Yeah, that's the best thing you could ask for.
Yeah.
Having a sibling match in general. My sister is only 50%, my brother is 100. So now it's a little running joke that me and my brother are a lot closer, and maybe my sister is only half of my parents too. We don't know where she maybe came from. So it's kind of funny. Me and my brother look a lot alike, and then my sister actually is a ginger naturally, and no one else in our family has orange hair. So it's kind of funny, but. Yeah, you couldn't ask for anything better, just with a sibling and being 100% match. So it was pretty seamless from that sort of thing, and just makes like any sort of chance of side effects and that whole thing just a lot easier when it comes to, even what the meds were like post-transplant. They're obviously very careful, just because you're building back an entire new immune system.
Your older, younger brother?
Younger, it's 15, so that was even. Part of it, that was even better too. I think there's actually more of a weight requirement. He had to be over 100 pounds, and luckily he's actually not the same stature as me. I think he's about 5'5", 5'6", 110 pounds right now as a freshman in high school. But he first thing he said, like, me and my parents asked him, like, do you want to do this? He said, whatever it takes. Like, he wanted to help and obviously put this thing behind me and behind everybody for my whole family. So it was, something courageous. Like a 14-year-old kid at the time just definitely doesn't understand the impact that it has. And I think with time though, he's, gotten to understand kind of more and more of what it like really meant to me and what it meant to everybody in my family. And he always jokes around saying like, if you ever make it to the NHL, it's my blood, not yours. So yeah, it's good to have. So yeah, we definitely kept it light and never got too, I guess, serious, and it's been huge. It's brought us closer together for sure.
thing is allowed everyone in the family to hold something over.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, probably, so. I mean, yeah, it's a tough time, and we're all trying to find, I think, the thing that, yeah, I mean, I've been through a lot in the last 4 years with the medical stuff, and we just found, like, best way to get through it is to, still have a sense of humor through it, right? Not to take it all serious all the time. There are times where you have to, you have to make real life decisions, but that you can carry that sense of humor, it helps you get through it, so. Yeah.
Sister, younger, older?
She's younger as well. She's 21. She's a senior at St. Thomas, so we'll end up graduating the same year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you and your brother have a running joke.
Yeah, he might be the reason I'm getting through college, He probably is, so, yeah.
Gally, what's it meant to have Will, back on the ice and back, with the team full-time?
Yeah, well, I mean, Will's one of my really good buddies, so we lived together last year, so it was kind of tough having him in and out of the house a lot, him not being able to be with us, at the house even, or on the ice and in the locker room, and I mean, he brings a lot of intensity and compete to practice on the ice that we would miss at some points when he wasn't there. So, I mean, from that standpoint, from the actual hockey side, it's huge having him back, just adding a little bit of, I don't know, extra grit and compete out there when we're like battling or whatnot. But, and then obviously off the ice, just great presence in the locker room. So good to have him back. It's really good for the team camaraderie. Yeah, I mean, stoked that he's back.
What's it like as a teammate and friend watching him go through everything he's gone through?
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But knowing Will before it all happened, like I was pretty confident the whole time that, he's going to battle his way back. He's done it once. He's going to do it again. Not a whole lot of doubt on that side, but yeah, I mean, it sucks. But he's been great, like battling through it, coming back. I mean, so Garnsey obviously went through a similar thing, and he was saying to me that the things that Will is doing over the summer at that point that he was at is just insane that he's able to do that right now, or that he's pushing himself to do that after going through the treatments that he did.
When you said you were down to 190 in the hospital, what's your playing weight you want to be?
Hopefully as heavy as I can get, still trying to keep it clean, not going to Dairy Queen too much. But right now I'm like 215. I think ideally, I mean, I'm not going to get too much heavier than that for Saturday, right? But throughout the year, I mean, there's still opportunities we're lifting weights a few times a week and, gain muscle and gain mass. So yeah, over the summer till now, put on 25 pounds. Ideally, like before all this happened last August, I was around 225, 227. So I doubt I'll get there this year. 10 pounds in a season would be quite a bit. So I'm happy where I'm at too. Like the way that I looked at it, I mean, because we had to think about this, kind of like analytically too, like going into the summer training was, let's make sure that we're not just putting on weight to put on weight. Like, let's get quicker, let's get powerful, that sort of thing, because I just lost like that step too. I was 190 pounds and was just frail and had no jump and that sort of thing. So it's kind of more of a focus to like get that speed back, get that power back, rather than so much put the weight on. The weight's gonna come with time.
I think we talked about this last season, I think the season before, but you just wanted to get back to being a hockey player.
Yeah.
Kind of not have this be the story about Will Francis, but now, I mean, are you back to the beginning where that first game this season is going to feel, really
Maybe
special again? Or?
Yeah, I think it will for sure. I mean, initially, pretty much every doctor said in April, they're like, there's gonna be no chance that you will be playing hockey come October. Nonetheless, like some of them said they'll be surprised about skating, and I was just like, well, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to prove you wrong. So that was kind of my mindset through the whole thing. And then just having like these games here, I knew right away that this was like the light at the end of the tunnel for me all summer. This is something I wanted to get ready for, and if I'm ready for it, great. If I'm not, let's just keep building for the point that it will happen. So it's been tough, obviously, but there's always kind of something to look forward to out of the whole thing. Was the way that I viewed it.
Gally, really strong year for you last year. How do you hope to build off of that year in your senior season?
I think I'd like to keep a lot of the same things that I was doing last year, but then I would say just be a bit more solid in the defensive zone. But then I guess a new role I have this year is being more of a leader. So I think I can contribute more that way, being more of a presence in the locker room and on the bench, with more, I guess, coaching and constructive ideas for some of the younger guys. We've got a lot of younger guys this year. So I think accepting that role of being a more veteran leader, I think, is a big step that I have to take.
Coach mentioned you had a really strong summer. What were you able to do over this last offseason?
Yeah, I was here all summer working out at Amsoil with Chase, and he had us on a really good program. The lifts were very difficult, long, heavy lifts, and just sticking with that every day, getting bigger and stronger, and then skating up here with the pro group we have for most of the summer, so guys like Pionk and Perunovic and Sandberg and those guys who I love skating with because, well, one, they're just great guys to be around, but then also there's a lot to learn from those guys. So, I try to take some advice from them throughout the summer and then watch what they do when we're practicing and just learn from that.
It's a long off-season, longer than we want to have. What's it like having now a light at the end of the tunnel here this weekend, have a couple games to play?
Yeah, I mean, I actually feel like this preseason went by faster than years prior, and I think it's because the group of guys we have, the practices are super fun, they're competitive, they're just super high execution throughout up and down the lineup, and so the practices have been a lot of fun, but yeah, super stoked to get this year going and actually prove what we can do on the ice during games, because I've really liked what I've seen so far in preseason in practices, but it's completely different from Friday, Saturday night when it's puck drop time. But I think we're going to be able to prove a lot of people wrong this year.
Yeah, what was key last year? You taking the jump that you did?
I think just a couple years under my belt already, more confidence. I think the experience that I had the first 2 years with some of those guys that I could learn from, the older guys. Noah Cates, I learned a lot about just how the work ethic was important, and Wyatt Kaiser, playing under him for a little bit, and then I felt like last year it was kind of my role to be that guy kind of on the back end. So I thought that I needed to step my game up a little more, and yeah, it just went well, I guess.
How many of the guys were in that here in Duluth for that UMD program?
I think we had about 8 of us, including the Plants and Hansen, and Stakowiak stayed over the summer. So those freshmen, and then the Hermantown guys like Joey Pierce and Aaron Pionk, and Braden Fisher was here as well.
Will, you talked about trying to build your body back up after getting down to 190. And games are a lot different, obviously, but how do you feel your body's handled what you've put it through so far and trying to get ready for the season?
Yeah, I feel good. We actually just talked about this recently. It's like Sue's asked me how I feel and I kind of feel no different soreness-wise compared to any other year, honestly. I think, at first, at the start of this summer, definitely it was, a shock to the body just getting back in the gym. But just through, obviously the trainers just having the great, treatment options and kind of recovering that way. Yeah, I kind of feel no different than I would any other year. The regular soreness that we face day to day, that sort of thing. And kind of noticed too, just as it's gone on, kind of the whole conditioning's gotten better, whether it's, we're doing scrimmaging out there, and I'm noticing that I have more breath, shift after shift after shift type deal. So it's kind of gotten nothing but better the whole time I've been here.
Well, what have you noticed about Gally as a leader on the team?
Yeah, I think he's been super good for the guys in the room, helping the younger guys, especially I can notice just he helps out Ty Hansen a lot, right? Him and Ty are similar players from what I see, just what they bring to the game. Maybe not always the most vocal, but guys respect what he does out there. And he just kind of more of a lead by example guy, kind of like how Noah Cates was for us. Noah wasn't always the most vocal guy towards us, but you just kind of went there and watched, and you're like, wow, that's what leadership is. That's what a leader does. So that's kind of what I've noticed out of him right away.